By the time you finish watching this video, it's my hope that you'll know a simple framework that we've used at our agency for the last 15 years to help businesses just like yours turn ads, websites, social media posts, blog posts, emails into consistent leads and sales. Now, I get it. If you're an established business owner watching this video right now, don't leave. I understand. You just want the marketing to work. You don't want to become a copywriter. I got you. If you're a marketer for the business owner who just wants the marketing to work and you've got your hands across everything in the marketing department, I've got you too. Here's the thing. Behind every great ad, behind every great high converting web page, email campaign, doesn't really matter what it is, that gets clicked on, there's a proven structure. And what most people don't realize is that this structure has been around for decades. It's one of our secret weapons, and we have perfected it across industries from real estate to financial services to healthcare to local businesses to restaurants to massage parlors, you name it, manufacturing, e-commerce. It just works. If it worked for them, it'll work for you. And I'm not going to make you wait. It is called the problem, agitate, solve copywriting formula. And if you've never heard of it, don't worry, because by the end of this video, you're not only going to understand it, you're going to be able to write your own paths sequences, whether it's for ads, emails, or social posts within 5 minutes. So let me take you back for a second. I first learned this framework in the 90s. Thank God I learned this framework when I was running ads in the real estate industry. Back then, we ran classified, we ran postcards, and we ran direct mail. We didn't have access to Facebook and Google back then. And here's what we discovered really quickly is when you start focusing on the problems that your perfect prospect has, instead of bragging about the product or service or how good you are, the features, the advantages, the benefits, they actually lean right in. The second part that's even more powerful is when you agitate the problem, when you shine a light on why it's frustrating, on why it's costing them peace of mind or money, you grab their attention at a deeper psychological level. And then, and only then, can you show them the solution. This simple pattern has outperformed every other ad we've ever tested in 15 years. It's been around, this psychology's been around for decades, you guys. Copywriting legends going back to the 70s and the 80s, for my research, date back to Dan Kennedy, doing this in the 70s and the 80s. Fast forward to today, it's in the world of AI and social media, it still works. Why? Because it's based not on technology. It's not based on AI. It's not based on whether you have a creative writing degree. It's not based on whether you even grew up in the world of copywriting. It's simply based on psychology. Human beings are wired a certain kind of way. Number one, they want to avoid pain way before they will ever chase the desire for pleasure. That hasn't changed for years. Psychologists have proven this for decades. All right, so let's break down this formula so you can actually use it. The basic PAS framework, the problem, agitate, solve framework, has 3 steps. Now, I'm not going to get into it in this video, but there are obviously advanced ways that we use this in our agency. But for today, I want to make sure this is acceptable and usable by everyone watching this video. Step 1, the problem. You want to make sure you meet them where they are. I've been saying this sentence forever. Meet them where they are. Name the specific challenge that your customer is facing. Name the specific problem that's keeping them up at night. Name the thing that they'd like to eliminate from their experience. Here's a simple way to think about the formula to get started. If you are struggling with X, here are some examples. So the beginning of your copy, the beginning of your messaging is if you are struggling with X, if you are frustrated by, if you are tired of X, Y, and Z. Here's some examples. Let's take my industry, for example. If you're struggling to get leads from social media, that's it. If you're tired of wasting money on ads that don't work. If you're a business owner stuck in the same revenue level year after year, okay? What you're going to find is that in this one beginning of the framework, you're calling out number 1 to the problem, and without saying it out loud, you're calling out to the who that would be your ideal prospect, because no one but your ideal prospect should be able to resonate with that statement. Okay, what I want you to do is, if you can, and you're not driving, I want you to take 30 seconds right now and just write one problem statement that your ideal market is having. Go ahead and pause the video if you need to. Step 2, the agitation. Now, it's not enough to just name the problem. You've got to bring some emotion to the surface. Agitation is about shining the light on why it's urgent to resolve this problem now. There's one thing about marketing that most people miss, and that is the perfect person can have the problem until they've had a triggering event that makes them say to themselves, enough is enough, and I need to do something about it. So the problem agitate solve, the agitate portion is shining a light on the issue of why it's urgent now. Let's look at 4 ways that we can do it. One of the ways that's really good is to think about the consequences. You can agitate with the consequence. Something like every month you stay stuck, you're leaving money on the table. Okay. I'm just picking examples. Obviously, there could be tens of thousands of you watching this video. There's no way for me to know your entire industry, but you want to paint a light or shed some light on the consequences of staying where they are. Second type, time pressure, right? Every day you wait, it only gets worse and worse. Okay. I was thinking about a company that we worked with 6, 7, 8 years ago, and they were in the debt resolution space. They weren't a bankruptcy attorney or anything like that, but they helped people resolve debts. And one of the most effective emails was it had everything to do with time pressure because their decision to wait was actually costing them more than what they thought it was going to cost them to pay for the product or service to get the problem resolved. Okay. Time pressure is the second way to think about it. The third way to agitate, as an example here, is by pointing out common mistakes. Something like, and most people just make it worse by doing X, Y, or Z. In your industry, you know that there are mistakes that your perfect prospect makes that pushes them further away from the relief that they actually want. So the third idea is common mistakes. And the fourth way to maybe look at agitation is using hidden costs. And it might sound something like, and what you don't realize is it's not just costing you money, it's actually costing you peace of mind. You're pointing out a hidden cost that maybe they're not aware of. They might not even be thinking about it, but underneath it all, they want to avoid that pain also, or that hidden cost. Okay, so the 4 items in this example are: you might want to point out consequences. You might want to point out time pressure. You might want to point out common mistakes, or you might want to point out hidden costs. Do me a favor, pick one of these to add to your first part of your problem agitate solve statement. Pause the video if you need to. Keep it simple though. All right, step 3, let's start to invite them to solve the problem. Now is when you offer hope. We started with a problem that they don't want to have. We started to agitate it a little bit so we could get them into an idea or a mode of making a decision. You know, it's kind of interesting today that one of our biggest competitors in trying to sell products and services today is not the price, it's not the competitor, it's actually the apathy that your buyer has, their indecision, their inability to do anything in this moment. So what we want to do though is paint some picture of hope. This isn't a place where you give away everything in your particular offer, brand, product, or service, because if we're in the lead generation business, we're trying to just get them to move a little step closer. So what we want to do is offer them one clear insight, one clear direction that might position you as the expert. It might be one small step in the right direction towards that solution. So some examples might be: the strategy that actually works is X, Y, and Z. Another example could be: the one thing that finally gets consistency in relationship to that result is doing X, Y, or Z. And a third example could be, you know, what we've discovered in years of testing is when you do X, Y, or Z, everything changes. Okay. Again, I can't make this up for everyone watching, but let's say it's my industry, and I'll run through 3 of them really, really quick. In my industry, one of the examples could be where someone might be struggling with their brand visibility. We might say, in terms of the solution, is the strategy that actually works is our $1 a day ad campaign. Another example could be the one thing that finally gets consistent leads is focusing on the right message and not more social media posts. Or a third example is what we've discovered over the years of testing is that when you flip the way you talk about your customer's problem, everything changes. And that's actually exactly what we're talking about today with the problem agitate solve framework. So that's actually it. The problem agitate solve model. It's 3 short lines done extremely well and focused will bring your right prospect out of hiding and into your world and invite them to solve their problem with you. Now, so many of you get caught up and think that the problem being solved is them buying, writing you a check, joining your program, giving you capital. That isn't always what we mean when we say problem, agitate, solve. Sometimes solving it is giving them a moment of clarity. Maybe that's inviting them to download a worksheet, an ebook, maybe coming to a webinar, maybe getting a coupon, maybe getting a discount. Some of that could be commerce. Some of it could just be generating a lead. So right now, if you've been following along for a little while, you should have a rough draft. If not, do it after you're done with watching this video. And it might look something like, let me take my industry, for example. If you've been struggling to generate leads with social media and you feel like you've been wasting time posting every single day with nothing to show for it, the strategy that actually works is the $1 a day method that we teach our clients. That's an example in my industry for my company of a complete problem, agitate, solve message. Now you can drop that in an ad. You can drop it at the opening of a video. You can put it on Instagram short or a reel. You can put it as a subject line in an email. You can put it as a social media post. See how fast that was? In literally less than 5 minutes, you can start building campaigns that start getting perfect strangers to take a step closer because you understand their problem. You agitate it a little bit. Don't be a jerk. Don't be that person. But you want to invite them to consider that staying where they are is more costly than taking a step forward. And then you invite them into your world. Now, before we wrap up, let's zoom out for just a moment, right? This little 3-step formula, problem, agitate, solve, might feel really simple, but behind the scenes, they are really responsible for some of the biggest wins in our agency's history in 15 years. And again, I used it back in the 90s when I started in real estate. Thank God for a gentleman by the name of Mark McKee, who introduced it to me. I wasn't working for him. He was just another independent real estate agent in our office, but he was a dynamic consumer direct marketer. And I was so fortunate to get close enough to him and get a little bit of mentorship from him. I used it in the financial services industry. I used it in the mortgage industry when I owned a mortgage company. And today, my team and I, we use it every single day. Social media, emails, landing pages, ad copy, websites, you name it. Why? Because it's not about the medium. It's about the psychology. And so long as we're selling to humans, I can't talk about when we're selling to robots. As long as we're selling to humans, it's going to work because humans tend to want to move away from pain more so before they chase pleasure. This hasn't changed in hundreds of years. And here's the funny part that most people miss. Problem, agitate, solve isn't just a copywriting formula. It's actually a way of thinking. When you understand the problems your customer is facing, when you can feel the frustration they're living with, you build trust. It's almost as if they say, how did they know what I was thinking? And trust is actually the real currency in business, especially today. So yes, you can write the problem, agitate, solve framework for a Facebook ad, a YouTube video, whatever that might look like. But at a deeper level, problem, agitate, solve is a foundation for campaigns that build authority, generate demand, and turn strangers into paying clients at the speed of trust. Because when they see your messages and you spend time doing this right, it will be as if you were in their head and they will jump right into your world to figure out how you can help them. So there you have it. So now you know how to write a problem, agitate, solve message in 5 minutes. I promised that at the beginning of the video. Do me a favor, try it out in your next ad, post, email, see how people respond. And do me a favor, if you want to go deeper, and I know some of you are advanced watching this right now, I went ahead and prepared 20 variations or templates, if you will, that you can download and start using today. Just click the link below in the description. There's no opt-in necessary. And I hope today's video gave you an aha moment. You know, I spend all my days talking to business owners and marketers who are overloaded with how much work they have to do to try to generate marketing results for their companies. You need a simple framework like this. I talk to owners of businesses who've hired agencies, freelancers, consultants, staff members, even their kid who happened to pick up a cell phone back when they were 12 years old, and they think that they know social media, but they don't know how to write. Sure, anybody can create posts on Canva, but nobody knows how to write copy that connects with the psychology of the buyer. So I hope today will help you. Click the link below, download those extra 20 templates. And for those of you that are AI savvy, yes, you can plug these into AI and have AI assist you, but don't outsource your thinking to AI. You must understand your buyer persona. You must understand their psychology. You must understand their 11 o'clock at night problem. You must have built out that full empathy map that we've talked about. And I've got videos. We'll link them up so you can find those in case you're new to our work here. And that will give you the success that you're looking for with Problem, Agitate, Solve. All right. Thanks for sticking with me today. I really appreciate it. Be sure to click the subscribe button so you don't miss our next video. Do me a favor also, leave me a comment below if you're going to try the PAS framework in your next campaign, in your next email, or whatever it is you're doing to generate leads. I'd love to know how you're going to use it, and I'm happy to respond to any one of those comments. All right, I'll talk to you later. Peace. Hey, thanks for watching. We know you could be anywhere on the internet, and you chose to be here with us, and we appreciate that. We've got some more free stuff somewhere around here or down in the description below. We'd love to have you in our community. Talk to you soon.